I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be the courtship never ends. Well, we're talking about relationships today. I actually do a lot of work with guys either are having problems with their girlfriends or they're having problems with their wives. And it's always one of two things that they're fucking up, basically. And sometimes it's a combination of the two particular things. Well, the first thing that a guy does, or I say probably the most common mistake that men make, I should say the mistakes they make in long-term relationships, are the fact that they stop courting and dating their wife or girlfriend. Meaning they stop romancing her, taking her out on dates. You know, it's like, it's funny, it's like once the infatuation wears off, or they move in together, or they've been married for a while, it's like, hey, you know, they're not fucking going anywhere. We got a 30-year mortgage. And they get busy in their careers. And men and women both do this. But this is where, you know, because obviously it's up to the guy to plan dates, to either call and get dinner reservations or call 2 or 3 different places to get some, you know, different things lined up. So when you take your girl out on a date, she doesn't know everything that's going to happen. Instead, it's actually a nice surprise. It's mysterious. She doesn't know where you're taking her to dinner. She just knows that you're taking her out to dinner and that you're going to do something fun afterwards. That's the kind of situation that you want because it's mysterious. And plus, if you plan your dates a few days out into the future, then she could sit and wonder where she's going to take you, what kind of dress she's going to wear. She might talk about it with the girls from work, that kind of thing. And the second biggest mistake that guys make in relationships is just poor communication. They don't understand that women communicate from an emotional level and not a logic and reason-based level like men do. And so if they don't know how to communicate, obviously a lot of guys just absolutely have no idea why their woman is upset, why she's bitchy, why she's pissed off, why she's not interested in sex either anymore at all or just not as often as she used to be. And I was talking to a client recently, and you know, another thing a lot of guys do is they get into a relationship because what I always teach guys to do is you got to focus on your goals and your dreams. You got to have something going on in your life outside of your relationship. You got to have things that you're trying to achieve, things that you're trying to strive for. If you're working out, you're trying to get in even better shape. Maybe you're trying to get leaner. Maybe you're trying to grow more muscle, whatever it happens to be. If you're a runner and you run a certain distance every day, obviously over time you're trying to increase that pace, increase the speed, increase your time. Because as a man, masculine energy, it's all about growing, expanding, achieving, purpose, drive, mission in life, that kind of thing. And so I was talking to a client actually just last week who made the mistake because he's got a very high achiever wife like himself. And so basically what he had done was that he kind of put his career on the back burner to help with hers. And instead now she's actually focusing more on her career. And you know, they haven't been dating each other. And things have just become boring, dull, and complacent. And women want to just have fun. They want to have a good time. And when a guy doesn't get it, he doesn't know how to open her up emotionally or communicate with her, she shuts down. And so then the relationship devolves into horse trading or negotiating. I'll do this for you if you do that for me, that kind of shit. And instead of just having a good time and showing up and being courted and romanced and swept off her feet like the guy initially did in the beginning, he stops doing all these things. So I got an email here from a guy who, he's on his third marriage. He says he's 56, and his wife's also been married 3 times. And he says, hey, Corey, I read your coaching letters, and I got your book, but I finally decided to write you. We've been married 3 years. It is the third marriage for both of us. When we got married after dating 3 or 4 months, that's pretty short courtship. It was awesome. We had sex morning and night, usually. She had little bouts of jealousy early on. Why are you looking at our waitress type of things? But I thought she was over it. And so what that tells me, at least in the beginning, is that she was worried about losing you. And she also, at least at that particular time, she was unsure of where she stood with you. And that's something that's very important to maintain, is you want to have some mystery and some romance. Because like I said, there's a scientific study, I'll put a link in here too, that I found out about a year ago, where they actually looked at it, where the scientists discovered that women are just simply more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear. And when you're married, you're living under the same roof, you're like, hey, are you picking up Johnny today from school? Yeah, I'll take care of that. I mean, that's, basically what your days become. It's just a routine. And so, for a woman, she always knows what's going to happen, and that becomes boring. Women are like cats. They need something to be curious about. And if you're boring and predictable, then a lot of times, and especially if you stop dating her, then a woman misses that emotional connection. And if she starts talking with a guy, one of the guys she works with, he's handsome, and obviously there's a chemistry, there's an attraction, obviously they're working together, so they have things in common to talk about. And she starts to feel this little emotional connection with the guy because he takes the time to listen to her, and he encourages her about her dreams, those kind of things. Whereas her husband, never takes the time to even ask her because he doesn't know how to. And then emotional connection develops. They go to lunch a couple times, and then maybe they meet. They're working late together, and they end up going out for drinks, and they get a little bit of buzz, and then next thing you know, they're getting a hotel together, and she's coming home late making excuses because she's having an affair. And that's how these things start. He says over the past year to year and a half, she's been a pain to live with. Sex is very infrequent, and she says, I'm tired, I have other stuff to do. She works for 2 to 3 days a week and is also taking online classes. I pay the bills. She works for her money to buy a new car, etc. I am 56, she's 49. Sometimes I think it's menopause, but she refuses to go to a doctor. She is a nurse and she thinks she knows it all. She's become very grouchy, and she says, and he says he's tired of sex every 2 weeks or so. And so he says, I've talked to my pastor. We're both Christians and used to go to the same church together. Lately, she's chosen to work on Sundays, and he suggested counseling, but I'm not sure I can get her to go. She has not gone to social outings with me, events at church, lunch at a friend's house, etc., because she's too busy studying. She will be done with this part of school in a few months, but lately she's been talking about going further for even another degree. Is this just an excuse to not be with me? I cannot go on living like this and would love to hear your advice and suggestions. Well, obviously, I'm not a counselor, so that's not what I do. I'm a coach. But obviously, in this particular situation, counseling, it takes both of you to go. And in this case, she's obviously not willing to do it. And I would say more than likely she's not willing to do it because she blames you for the relationship being where it is. Because after all, the man is supposed to be the knight in shining armor, and he's supposed to solve all the problems. He's supposed to take the big things and make them little. Women take the little things and they blow them out of proportion so the man can come along and fix it, put it all together, and it's not a big deal, and life continues on. And so what you need to do, obviously you need to go back and read my book again, because there's a lot of things, I think the light bulbs haven't started going off yet, but what I would do is plan a date with your wife, maybe 3 or 4 days into the future, or maybe a week when you know she's definitely going to be free, and have it planned out. Take her to dinner someplace, and then afterwards plan on going like miniature golf or do some fun things. Well, what was the kind of shit you used to do when you were dating and courting her, when you were trying to win her heart? I mean, that's the kind of thing. You want to be surprising. You want to surprise her. So it's not about being extravagant, but it's about taking her out, and she doesn't know what's going to happen next. And the idea is to have fun, but also to get her talking. You get her talking by asking her questions. How are things? And, I want to know. Just tell her this. Say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you say I am as a husband? And be prepared that she may say a 2 or a 3 or a 1. And you can't take it personally. Just look at it as taking objective advice. You want to find out what's wrong so you can fix it, right? So if she says she's a 2 or 3, you say, okay, well, what would I have done differently this past week or this past month or whatever in order for you to say, you know what, you're a total 10 as a husband? What would I have done? Let her tell you. And don't sit there and start justifying and using logic and reason to try to argue and reason with her why what you've been doing is adequate, because obviously it's not, because you wouldn't be in this situation. Just listen to her, and then obviously share with her what you would want. Obviously say the same thing and say, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, I think you've been X as a wife, and this is why. This is what I want. And obviously, I know you want more sex, but the reason your wife's not giving you more sex is because she doesn't feel safe and comfortable. Number one, you're not dating her, you're not taking her out, you're not sweeping her off her feet anymore, you're not romancing her. And so she obviously doesn't feel like you love her or care about her. You stop doing everything that caused her to fall for you in the first place. And the second one is she's bitchy. That tells me that she's hurt. You've hurt her emotionally, and she's upset, she's pissed off at you because you haven't fixed it. And obviously, the way she's acting, this is a dysfunctional behavior, because obviously, if she knew how to communicate like an adult, she could communicate her needs and wants to you in a way that you could understand it. But obviously, she doesn't. She's probably just doing what she learned from her parents or her mother, or the way the women in her family communicate. Most women, they get upset at something, they get pissed off until the guy digs deep enough to figure out what's wrong. Well, like in this case, you want to go to counseling, but obviously she wants nothing to do with it, more than likely because she thinks it's all your fault, and she's waiting for you to figure things out and fix it. So you need to start dating her again, romancing her, and you need to get her talking. And when you're talking at dinner, oh, how's your week going? How's this going? Blah, blah, blah. Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. What else? Get her to talk. Get her to open up. And when she's done communicating and got all the crap out, and there's probably going to be a lot of it, might take you a couple dates or a couple of days. But you got to start looking at it this way. It's like you're starting all over. You got to win her back. You got to date her as if you're starting out all over again. And be mysterious. Change your routine up a little bit. If you come home at the same time every day, join a gym. Go to the gym and start taking better care of your body. Just change your routine up a little bit. And she says, where are you? Where'd you go? It's like, I joined a gym, or I did this, or I'm doing that. Get focused on you and becoming the best version of yourself. Go out and spend some time with your friends. Don't let all your friendships die because you're married. And let her wonder where you're at, what you're doing, so she has to call you and find out and discover. Remember, love is playful and fun. It's not serious. And your relationship has become anything but playful and fun. It's become serious. It's a drag, and you two are just kind of tolerating each other. So work on your communication skills and do the things I suggest, and that should start turning things around. And I would also book a phone coaching session with me if you really want to get this turned around quickly, because obviously there's a lot more going on here than you can tell me about in a few paragraphs in an email. So if you find this message of value, you can show your appreciation by going down to the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen if you're watching this video on my website, and click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information in this video. At the very least, please share this page with all your friends and family by clicking any one of the social network sharing buttons, which are also located in the Wibbia toolbar at the bottom of your screen. And if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you'd like me to cover in a future video newsletter, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen and send me 3 or 4 paragraphs detailing your situation and your challenges. And you got to give me some time to get back to you, because I get a lot of email from the internet, and I also get a lot of email from my paying customers, and I got to answer those first for obvious reasons. But we'll get back to you, so just be patient. And if you want to talk to me right away so I can help you with a challenge or a specific situation you need help with, click the Products tab at the top of your screen and follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.